It's interesting playing for like college kids because it's, especially like sororities, because it's, you never really know what to play until you really kind of see people vibe, and it's a process. Swing on that.
Before I can talk about getting into DJing, I need to first kind of take you back and talk about how I got into producing. That started sometime about high school, late high school, when I first stumbled upon this video by a VG. It's called Levels. It was kind of like a chart topper at the time. A lot of people were talking about it, and it wasn't until I listened to it multiple times, found like the rhythmicness of like the track and the piano parts of it. I was like, wait, why don't I try recreating something just like this? I went on YouTube, looked at a lot of different tutorials, and eventually found ways to teach myself the entire craft. And that's kind of how I started producing. And it wasn't until I kind of like came to pen and found a bunch of friends back in the very beginning of sophomore year, kind of just like sat me down at parties and just taught me the ins and outs of DJing, and that's really where it all began. In terms of describing my own musical style, I don't like to stick to a particular genre, simply because the music I listen to is so diverse anyway. Progressive house, I've done tropical, I've also done a bit of R&B, I've done lo-fi, I've done hip-hop, I've done basically a variety of different genres. And for me, I feel like if there's really one common theme, is that it's very melodic, it's very atmospheric, and I think at the end of the day, I really want to make people feel. So Sonder was actually written a while back at the start of 2018 and 2017, and the concept really came around when I was really just having like a moment to self-reflect, and I was like, you know, I really want to be making something that's kind of emotional, kind of really just, I guess people would call beautiful, you know, kind of beautiful music. Listen to this and think, oh, it's kind of pretty, right? So one of the concepts I got was actually to look into, I forget the name of the book, but it's essentially a book of fictional words, completely made up, completely invented. Sonder is actually one of the most famous words off this particular book. It means the realization that everybody around you is like living really unique, different lives, and that the world is actually a lot bigger than what you kind of like take it to be. So, in kind of like to go with that, when I play a song, you actually hear some like samples of people kind of walking and talking. I'll play it right now. So the track itself kind of begins just very simple guitar riff that I found online, the sample pack. Very nice kind of guitar chords. I thought it was a really good tone to it, and I did some like processing. Makes it kind of cool, more vintagey. So got some like ambient noise in there. Are you really dreaming or are you not? The track itself is particularly percussion heavy. There's a lot of thumpiness within the kicks and the snares used, and a part of that was that I wanted to create a sense of movement, a sense of you moving forward, and in order to do that, I thought that creating a groove, particularly an off-time groove, so if you actually bounce this into like a DJ analyst, you'll see that it doesn't match up perfectly to the waveforms. It's a little bit off. The kind of picture I wanted to paint with Sonder was, walking through life and you're feeling like this, this kind of feeling of surrealness, this unrealness, that it's just more than you. There's so many people around you living their own lives with their own stories to tell, and you're just kind of just walking through that. And that's kind of like the message I wanted to convey with this, which is why when you listen to the track, it's driven by this underlying layer of like percussion, but also have this sort of surreal etherealness of pads, vocal chops, and a lot of reverb to make the whole experience even more surreal. So the idea that I want to make people feel the way I do, almost like have other people relate to some of the ideas I have in my head. Music is a great channel for that because it's so universal that you don't really need language, you don't really need some sort of medium to sort of understand what it means. All you do is just kind of sit there, listen to it, and feel. And I feel like that's not only very human, but it's also very transcendental, and that's not something you are able to see with like a lot of other disciplines.